The air in the crypt was thick and cold, heavy with the dust of ages and something else. Something heavier. Alara felt it settle on her skin, a damp, clinging presence. Lantern light danced across endless walls of skulls, each one nestled in its own dark alcove, a silent, grinning audience to her trespass. Local legends called this place the Whispering Sepulchre, a name that sent a delicious shiver down her spine. They said that at night the dead would talk. Alara, a historian with a penchant for the macabre, had to know. She set her lantern on a flat, moss-covered stone in the center of the chamber, its golden glow pushing back the oppressive darkness but not quite conquering it. The silence was profound, broken only by the drip, drip, drip of water somewhere in the unseen depths and the frantic beating of her own heart. She ran a gloved hand over the cool, smooth bone of a nearby skull. Who were you? A king? A peasant? A warrior who fell in a long-forgotten battle? The skulls offered no reply, their empty sockets staring back with unnerving patience. As midnight approached, a change began. A subtle shift in the atmosphere, a drop in temperature that had nothing to do with the stone and everything to do with the unseen. And then, it started. A faint murmur, like the rustling of dry leaves. Alara froze, her breath catching in her throat. It wasn't the wind. The sound grew, swelling into a chorus of whispers, 1,000 voices speaking at once, yet each one distinct. They weren't speaking to her, but to each other, recounting their final moments. "The fever took me," whispered a voice thin as cobwebs. "My skin burned, my throat closed. An arrow," hissed another, sharp and angry, "right through the eye. I never saw it coming. They walled me in," a third voice rasped, filled with the dry panic of suffocating dust. "The darkness, it went on forever." Alara sank to her knees, mesmerized. This was it, the greatest historical discovery of all time. She fumbled for her digital recorder, her fingers clumsy with excitement and fear. She had to capture this. The stories swirled around her, tales of betrayal, plague, sacrifice, and murder. A young woman poisoned by a jealous rival, a builder who fell from the very cathedral he was constructing, a soldier left for dead on a blood-soaked field. Each skull had a story, a tragedy etched into its very essence. Hours melted away. Alara listened, captivated, her academic curiosity warring with a primal fear that was slowly beginning to win. The whispers were no longer just background noise. They were seeping into her, weaving a tapestry of death that threatened to unravel her sanity. She began to feel their pain, their terror, the phantom burn of fever, the ghost of a blade between her ribs, the crushing weight of stone. Her head throbbed, a cacophony of dying echoes rattling inside her own skull. She tried to stand, to flee, but her limbs felt heavy, anchored to the spot. The lantern flickered, its fuel running low, casting long dancing shadows that seemed to writhe and grasp. The whispers intensified, turning from mournful recounts to something more accusatory, more personal. "Intruder," one voice hissed, cutting through the din. "She listens," another echoed. "She does not belong," a chorus of voices agreed. Panic, cold and absolute, seized her. The crypt no longer felt like a historical treasure. It was a tomb, and it was hungry. The air grew impossibly cold, and the darkness began to press in as the lantern sputtered its last. The voices swirled, a vortex of sound and fury, all directed at her. "One of us," they chanted, the words hammering against her mind. "One of us! One of us!" Alara screamed, but the sound was swallowed by the legion of whispers. She felt a pressure in her head, an agonizing, splitting sensation, as if her own story was being forcibly torn from her. Her memories, her childhood, her studies, her name, began to fray, replaced by the final, terrifying moments of 1,000 strangers. The world dissolved into a blur of pain and shadow. Darkness, and then a new kind of silence. The first rays of dawn pierced a crack in the ceiling, illuminating a single new addition to the wall of skulls. It was pristine, white, and settled perfectly in a previously empty alcove. As the sun rose higher, a new voice, faint and confused, joined the morning silence, waiting for the coming night to tell its tale. "The whispers," it murmured, "a story just beginning." I heard the whispers, and then it trailed off, another secret kept, another voice added to the chorus, waiting for the next curious soul to venture into the dark. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this story gave you a good chill. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more tales from the shadows. Let me know in the comments what you thought, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there.